to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just ask for a moment of silence to all those that have lost a loved one. Thank you.
Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander. Spitali.
Here.
Vanez.
Here.
Gawinski.
Here.
Salinas.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Rakels.
Here.
Warple.
Here, let the record show 9 present, 0 absent. Mayor?
Hi, thanks, Councilman Whirlpool. It's good to see you all. Been a couple weeks since we've been here, a few weeks. This is my address for October 14th, 2025. Started off a few weeks ago with the Realtors Breakfast at the Lost Marsh in our first district. Had over 100 realtors from across Northwest Indiana having breakfast, listening to presentations from all my department heads, myself, and then they got to golf compliments. So I think we do this every year. I think it really helps us a lot to teach the realtors about what we're doing so that they could help sell their community when they're trying to sell houses. So I think it's a worthwhile effort. Hosted former Indiana Governor and our former U.S. Senator Evan Bayh and his son Bo to Hammond a couple weeks ago. Took him to the famous El Taco Real. I thought it was going to be like a new thing to teach him El Taco Real, but Senator Bayh was very familiar with it. He was happy we took him there. It was nice to catch up. It was good to see. Met with the Hammond Police Department and captains and above for our normal meeting, and then we had a separate meeting just on ICE. And it turned out to be fortuitous timing. We literally had the meeting, and then the next day we were tested, and I know that Councilman Berry has a resolution we're going to talk about later, so I'll just save my comments for that time. But it was a good meeting I had with the police department, captains and above, and it was very good timing. So I met with a Hammond resident who's married to a Chinese woman. I don't want to mention his name. Obviously, in the environment we're in, this gentleman is in great fear that his wife is going to be deported. I'm not sure why she's not a citizen, but they're both very nervous right here in our city. So wanted to point that out. I'm not going to give details because I don't want to provide any ammunition to ICE to go after him, but it's going on. We know it's going on, obviously, in the Hispanic community, but it's not just the Hispanic community that's being terrorized by this organization. Participated in NICD strategic planning session. I was interviewed over the phone because I couldn't make their first meeting. They had a lot of questions in regards to the Gateway Station, how I felt about it as mayor, the South Hammond Station and the problems that we may run into down there, and also on the downtown Hammond Station. Last I heard, the train's getting delayed again. So I heard first of the year is getting pushed back. So I'm not from the South Shore, but that's what I heard. And that's important to us because we cannot begin work on the downtown Hammond train station until that train rolls down the track under its own power. So we're waiting for this to begin so that we can start work on the downtown Hammond South Shore station. Participated in the Northern Indiana Professional Sports Development Commission meeting with the owner of the South Bend Cubs. Very cool. We had a Q&A in regards to the process involved with the purchase of the Cubs by this gentleman, and their transition from where they were to where they currently stand is one of the most successful, I think it's single A franchises in the country. It's real good attendance on every night. It's just interesting to see how they took really dilapidated part of South Bend and transformed it around the baseball stadium. So I thought it was really neat. I want to thank Representative Earl Harris for developing this commission. I'm not sure I'm going to always be Hammond's appointee. I started off as it, and it might be too busy for me, and I may try to find somebody else, but it's pretty cool what they're talking about. They're really trying to get some type of franchise to locate in Northwest Indiana, be it rugby, be it women's basketball, be it baseball, whatever. It's just pretty interesting. And Earl Harris, his father, this was his idea back in the day. It was about the Bears, and now Earl Jr. got it passed, and we're moving forward, so it's pretty cool to see. Attended I already mentioned that. Met with Shift 3 firefighters in the Central Firehouse, all the BCs, ACs, and the chiefs. Met with Dr. Amy McCormick of Calumet College of St. Joseph regarding an update on their Lilly Grant campus project, as well as an update on their enrollment numbers. They're doing very well. It's really nice to see. CCSJ and PNW both are doing really well population-wise, and a lot of people are afraid of what the enrollment cliff is going to do to higher education, and our 2 universities are doing well so far. I think that's great. Last but not least, I met with Mr. Don Andres, the owner of the downtown Hammond Mexican restaurant, who wanted to meet about all the construction downtown and the effects it's having on his business. He's a great man. He's been in business for a long time in our city, and they're being devastated right now. And, so it was a good meeting. We're trying to come up with some issues. Obviously we don't want to see that business go out of business. So we do have a couple of other issues I wanted to bring up, and one of them we're going to talk about later. Renaissance remodel, I'm just going to hold my comments on that until we bring that up during the session. But there's one thing I know Councilman Warple and I have been talking about it. Councilman Barry, I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this yet, and it's the old Walmart and the issues we've been having in the parking lot over there. It slowly but surely turned into a semi-trailer parking lot, and then you're getting people that are moving their RVs there, and they're cooking out, and they're living in the parking lot. I drove through, I felt like I was in California, and that's not a compliment, okay? I saw some things that you shouldn't have to see, and we immediately cleaned it up. We are ticketing, towing, and I made contact with the owner of the property. He said that should not be happening in my parking lot, and the Hammond Police Department's been kicking butt and taking names over there. We cannot let that part of our city. We have a couple $100 million going in new economic development over there, and they're trying to turn it into a truck stop. It's not gonna happen, but we're on it. And I just wanted you all to know that, I'm sure you've noticed the increased enforcement over there. So I have other comments about the situations we're gonna talk about, and I'll just save my comments for that if you don't have any other questions.
I know, Mayor, when we talked about that, I've been by there a few times, and there's a squad car out there every day,
Yeah.
and it's really cleared up the problem over
We
there.
have to. It was bad. There was
Yeah, it
probably
was.
10 semis, a couple of RVs that hadn't moved in weeks, if not months, parked permanently. We gave them one day to get it towed, and they had to work on it for most of the day just to get it so they could tow it out. So they'd been there for a while. So anyway, if you don't have any more questions, I'll save my comments for when the
Mr.
subject's-
President,
Councilman Tyler?
thanks for that, Mayor. Just one question. Do we think that the fines and penalties are high enough for that?
Being honest, Councilman, I think anytime you ask me that question, I'm going to say no. Because it's, first off, it's ruining a part of our city.
Right.
If that's allowed to happen. And I mean, that's probably something we should talk to the PD about, but I would be completely open-minded on that. I don't think you'd find too many Hammond residents that would disagree with that either, Councilman.
Yeah. I know we increased the fine, right, for the truck routes
Yes,
too,
sir.
right? So
Yes, sir.
I don't know if that's been a deterrent or not.
It does seem better than it was. We were getting killed for a while, and I mean, on the side streets, when we did that, you're right. Semi-trailers going through our city is a scourge, Councilman. If you wanted to deter it by raising the fine, I would totally support that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Thank-
further questions? Thank you, Mayor.
I'll see you guys in a few.
Item number 4, approval of minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes from the September 22nd meeting and place them on file.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilman Emerson. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 5, approval of claims.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for approval of claims dated 9/23 of '25 and ending with claims dated 10/8 of '25, claim number 8572 through claim number 9294 inclusive, in the amount of $15,554,802.07. I so move.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Vitale.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Yawinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show, 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Item number 6, public hearings.
Item A, the 2026 City of Hammond budget proposal sponsored by Mayor Thomas McDermott.
We want to do all 3 of them at once, clerk?
Item B, the 2026 Hammond redevelopment budget proposal sponsored by Dan Spitali and Janet Venez. Item C, 2026 Hammond Sanitary District budget proposal sponsored by Councilwoman Venez and Councilman Spitali.
George, you wish to speak?
Sure, sir. Robert Still. I don't know how we can have public hearings on ordinances that have yet to be introduced. It's a bit premature, wouldn't you say? I mean, I don't know how it's properly before you if it hasn't been introduced, let alone how's anybody going to discuss anything? We don't know what to discuss. You got me at a loss on this one. I don't know how you reconcile that. It's highly irregular. I believe it nullifies this deliberation. I don't know how you can do it. Anyway, it's crazy.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Was there something assigned?
Not for this, no.
Okay. In regards to the budget, I didn't prepare anything. I glanced over it, but I understand that there's a freeze that has been held for the police and hiring. And one thing I just want to mention is that while there are budgets that need to be made, whether it's at state level, cutting, and here, there are ways and there are funds that are available for our police department that have not been shared. And so while I believe it was 2023 that they changed the law that allows the TIF funding, the tax increment finance money that is supposed to be shared with schools, they did extend that to police officers within our state about 2 years ago. And so when I hear things like we're going to freeze this or whatever form that would get you guys to make a motion on something that could hurt our community with food taxes and wheel taxes and data center agreements that also popped up the way George just described it, I would think that you guys could weigh in on some of these things. The funding that is set aside from the municipal for the tax, a lot is going in redevelopment. And there's a lot of sources that go into redevelopment. But we also have to stop and think what other entities can benefit from. When you redevelop, you're going to need a strong police force. When you redevelop, usually people buy houses because they want schools. And so when there's TIF funding that can be extended to schools in years where schools have been consolidated not too long ago, and then we come to find that there's funding made available in our state with that exact funding that we actually don't have any transparency on. I don't know if you guys have it, because I don't see many questions on TIF funding. And that's never discussed, excuse me. But yeah, it's something that needs to be a little bit more transparent, the funding, a little bit more broken down. And I think you guys have heard that before, December 31st of 2022, And so these funds, it seems like everything is going towards redevelopment, and we need to make sure that all the other entities are strong enough, because they are also entities that create revenue for our city. And a thriving school district does create revenue for the city. And police force, it's needed when you're redeveloping at the speed that you are. Well, I just want to say that when considering the budget, instead of all this fear-mongering we have going on, not just in Indiana, why not look over the numbers, and when there's times that the state is redoing their budget, we should also be a little bit better with, these bonds and things that are being approved. because you're going to tax my community, ours, out of their homes, and they voted on each and every one of you to represent them. So please ask questions. I want to thank my councilman for always asking for questions, and don't be afraid to ask, because we count and we vote for you to represent us and make the best decisions. But there has to be a balance, you know? So that is all. Thank you, guys.
Mayor.
Hi, Mr. President. Just to clear up a misconception from the last speaker, we enacted a hiring freeze a month and change. I was immediately approached by police and fire. Police and fire said, Mayor, we've made commitments we have a class, this is police. We have a class of 9 recruits in the academy right now. How do we approach them? Are they fired? I'm like, no. We made our commitments to those 9. They're going to complete the academy and we're going to hire them. And they said, we also identified around 10 new officers that we've already extended offers to go to the academy. Are we going to rescind those offers? And I said, no. We made a commitment to those 10 officers as well. They're going to come in to the Hammond Police Department. So we committed to close to 20 officers, 10 in the academy now, 10 in the future. We made our commitments to all of them, and they're all going to get hired so long as they finish the academy. We had the same kind of situation come up in the fire department, and we made the same agreement. I don't know where this lady gets her information from, but that's the facts, okay? If you have any questions on that, I'm here. I've been in the council meeting for the last 22 years, and I have to say I've been asked millions of questions, well, thousands of questions from you over the years, so the fact that you didn't have one today doesn't mean that you're not doing your job, in my opinion. Do you have any questions? Because I'm here. We got the budget. With raises, obviously we're all afraid of SB1 and what it's going to do to our budgets next year. There's no answers. All we're looking at, this is a current fact. We already lost $15 million in gaming to the Hard Rock Casino. Already. We're probably going to lose more once they build their convention center. So let's say another $5 million goes to Hard Rock. So that's money that's gone already. It's probably never going to come back. Hate to break it to you. SB1 is going to take another $15 million from us. So we're going to suffer a $30 million revenue blow in the course of about 5 years. And we're still ticking right now. We're not doing as much road work as we used to because that's what the gaming money covered, right? So we have contractual commitments to our unions, and they had big raises in the first couple of years, and their raises are settling down now. So we were faced with this prospect. Police, do you remember what the amount of police raises was, Megan, this year? 3.5 for police, and then fire was 1% lower, right? 2? Okay, so police, 3.5% pay raises this year. The fire, 2% because they were negotiating other things that was important to them. And then the Teamsters are getting 2 also, right? So these all were contractually written raises built in. The only people that didn't have a contract are the people who work in City Hall, like staff in the council, staff in the clerk's office, staff in the mayor's office, people in public works that are not union, right? So, by the way, those are 100% Hammond residents. All these other departments I'm talking about, a lot of out-of-towners getting big raises. The ones that actually live here that aren't union, I'm hearing, I didn't hear it from you guys. I heard it from some people. They need to get 0. Like, what? I'm going to give 10 to 15% of City Hall's population 0 to make you feel better, but we're going to pay our contractual raises out in the unions? That makes no sense. So we decided to give everybody 2%. That was the rationale behind it. I have contractual obligations for the unions, but that's the employees that aren't covered are the ones that work in this building, and we decided to give them 2% pay raises, okay? I don't think that's abusive. I don't think that's too much. The inflation rate this year is probably going to be 3%, so they're losing money this year. Any other questions? Police and fire account for 2/3 of our spending, $65 million, $38.8 million on police, $25.7 million on fire. That's 2/3 of our budget goes to police and fire. So I don't want to hear this nonsense about us underfunding the police. That's nonsense. That is complete and utter freaking nonsense. Hammond spends 2/3 of its money on public safety. I don't know where she gets that information from, but it's false. And I'm not going to sit here and let somebody come up here and lie. I'm not, you're done.
Ma'am, this isn't a debate. This isn't a debate.
He misunderstood.
This isn't a debate.
Go sit down. You're in the council chamber.
Yeah, if you want to address me, I'm right here.
I'm addressing government. This is government.
I mean, if you have a question, I'm here.
Any other questions?
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry.
Hey, Mayor.
Hi, Councilwoman.
I know we talk about this all the time.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's, as we talk about it, especially during budget time.
Yes, ma'am.
How are we going to continue to sustain, coming up with those creative ways? And
Yes, ma'am.
hopefully, as we get through this process, we'll look into other ways of being able to sustain, but at the same time, figuring out how we can get rid of those overheads that we already have.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I know that we do have some kind of debts and how we can get rid of those. So just
But-
so we can continue to have those conversations.
Yes, ma'am. Totally agree. Appreciate that. And I know there was some talk about TIF. That's where most of our debt is in a TIF district. So we bring in a project like Munster Steel, and then we had to issue around $6 million of debt at the time, and then we put it in a TIF district, and it's paying itself off. It doesn't cost the residents money. It's a TIF district. The money that Munster Steel brought in pays off the debt over time. That was a project a long time ago, and that debt's almost paid off. But when we bring in, since I've been mayor, the city of Hammond's assessed value has doubled. Councilman Mark, you've been with me every step of the way. Since we've been in office together, we've added 100% of assessed value to the city. A lot of that occurred through TIF districts. If we didn't have TIF districts, we couldn't get these deals done. We couldn't bring in Lear seating and relocate it without TIF money. Those are jobs. Hudamaki, those are jobs. People work there. Without TIF money, that project's dead in the water, and it goes off to some other place that's willing to use TIF. So you have somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about, talking to you about TIF. It's nonsense. So I'm not going to sit here and take it. I'm just not. This is too important. We've lost too much money for somebody to come up and utter nonsense. Okay? $30 million, I can tell you that. That's what we're losing. $30 million. I know you guys know that. I'm talking to the audience that's watching us right now. And we got tough decisions. I know you know that, and I appreciate it. I think this is a good budget. It's not exorbitant. There's not huge raises built in. We're maintaining our staffing. We're maintaining our commitments to public safety. That's really where it's at, right? So thank you, guys. I
Mayor.
appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
This is more of a comment than a question, and I've already told Megan this. I've skimmed through the budget without going into a deep dive in it, and other than the contractual raises, which are already intact, when you look at it, there's a lot of areas where the budget has actually gone down.
Yes, sir. We're
And I
squeezing.
commended Megan for that. And I
Thank you.
saw it here with the sanitary budget too. Just looking at the page they gave us, there's about $1 million savings.
Yes, sir. And by the
So-
way, I'm sorry, Councilman.
No, it just, we all signed up for this, and it's an understatement to say you get tired of getting lied about and told you're not doing your job. But from what I've seen, there's a lot of areas where the budget has gone down in what's being allocated for 2026. So I commend you guys for the budget you've turned in. And we'll have more time to talk about this in our,
And Councilman Warple, I also want to point out the State Board of Accounts was just in a couple weeks ago. I know there's councilmen that went to the audit with us. We got glowing audit results. We're doing everything the way you're supposed to be. We're spending the money exactly how you're supposed to be. Our problem is we're losing $30 million, 1/5 of our total revenue. I mean, how many places could absorb a hit like that? That's what we're absorbing. And we're going to try to come out the other side, and we're going to try to come up with answers. But right now, in my family, this $300 tax credit that I get under SB1 is going to cost me $2,000 plus a year as a family with Marissa and I. We saved $300, thank you, Governor Braun, but because cities like Hammond are going to have to turn around to fund government operation and pass a 1% income tax, that $300 is history for me. And I'm going to pay a couple $1,000s to the city of Hammond. What's the alternative? What's the alternative if we don't do that next year? The alternative is massive layoffs to police and fire. That's not a scare tactic. 2/3 of our money goes there. If we don't bite the bullet like Governor wants us to next year, if we don't bite the bullet, you're going to be looking at your police officer and fire friends and wondering which ones are going to be here at the end of it. That's 1 year from now. We've been getting ready, but that's 1 year from now. There's no answers, guys, and it's not your fault. It's not our fault. It's the governor's fault. The guy passed law. He doesn't even know what it's about. That's his fault. He can't even tell us how much we're going to lose. He can't even tell us how much we're going to gain if we pass a tax. All he wants is that, I did that $300 credit. Good job, Governor. Good job. You're ruining the finances of every city and town in Indiana for a $300 tax credit that's going to be eaten away by food and beverage tax, wheel tax, municipal income tax, because we have no alternative unless we want to lay off police and fire. We worked hard on this. I know you guys know that. I'm frustrated because I know it's coming. And then there's people feeding misinformation out there. It's very maddening. It's very maddening.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Councilman Tyler.
Mayor, I just wanted to share that I've been in office for 6 years now, and there's still a lot about TIFs that I don't even understand. So I know that there's probably a lot of people in the public who don't have as much information as us that are probably trying to make sense of it. And I'm not saying that like that is the savior of what we're trying to do with our budget here, but I know I would benefit from more information just about how our TIFs work, operate, and as well just like in general. I know I'm going to schedule some time with Megan to dive deeper into the budget like you guys suggested. So, I just want to thank your administration for being so open to have those conversations and to share their information with us. Because
You're one of our bosses, Councilman.
yeah, I mean, and we just want to learn just like everybody else does.
Yes,
And
sir.
there's a lot of,
It took
I know
me a
there's a
long-
lot that's changing at the state, federal level. So
I appreciate that, and absolutely. I think, honestly, the more council members learn about TIF, the more you'll be horrified when you hear the talk at the State House about how TIF is this evil thing. It's insane. If we didn't have TIF, we couldn't have brought in $1 billion worth of new economic development. We couldn't. We'd have lost a lot of those projects because we can't compete with Crown Point. They want to go to Crown Point or Hammond. Let me tell you what the difference is. It's money. If you want to beat out Crown Point or a community like that for a project, you got to have more money because Crown Point beats us in a lot of other categories. So if we're not willing to ante up, we're going to miss these big opportunities. That's just facts. Appreciate you guys. Sorry, I got emotional.
Councilwoman Alexander.
Just one last thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Just kudos to Megan and her team for working so hard on the budget. Like President Warple said, I did notice the cuts and things like that were changed in there. So kudos to that. So back to what I was saying before, is continuing to find those gray areas that we can save to help us is what we're always looking for. So
Yes, ma'am.
thank you, guys.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Anyone else?
sorry, Mr. President.
Councilman Tyler.
Mayor, just one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I know you all, your administration, for whatever reason, catches flack when we go after grants, matching grants, or to do street repairs, or for park improvements, whatever it is. And I think to Councilwoman Alexander's point, I think those are ways that we're trying to save residents money and try to use the resources that we have in a more responsible way. So
Yes, sir.
I know that Dean in engineering and Jim in parks, like they do a great job of trying to find those sources out there that we can utilize as a municipality. So I just want to share appreciation for that too. And I know for anybody who's watching, just know that like we've had this conversation several times too, just in terms of the different innovative ways that we're trying to be able to improve the quality of life for our residents. And the state, federal government are making it extra harder on us, and we still have to, so there are things that we have to do that we might not want to do, and also things that we are looking into do that, for whatever reason, in public, there is like this misunderstanding or misconception about why we're doing that or how we're using those funds. And I don't know where the bridge is. I know as elected officials, we have a lot of responsibility in terms of how we get that information out. But at the same time, I think it's a bit of a two-way street, and just trying to figure out ways to improve communication from our point of view across our districts, I think is something that we might want to take a look at too.
Thank you, Councilman.
Anybody else? Just to buttress on what he said, I do know on two things. Like, I think people forget, take the county, for instance. They froze our tax levies until we enacted a county income tax. We passed a wheel tax, and we had to have a wheel tax before we could apply for certain road grants. And I don't think the public understands that. One of the road grants we get is community crossings, and it does a lot of work. It did 169th Street, 173rd, Columbia Avenue this year, and that was all community crossings. But I believe we wouldn't have qualified for that had we not passed the wheel tax, correct? So I don't think people understand that it ain't as simple as, hey, come here, get this money from us. You got to qualify for it. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but the state a lot of times says, don't come to us for help if you're not willing to help yourself. And by that, they mean if you don't have a wheel tax or whatever, then don't come crying to us that you're broke. That being said, does Anybody got anything, anybody else wish to speak on these three issues? Hearing none, public hearings are closed. Item number 7, communications. Anybody have any communications?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
I just want to announce that on Saturday, October 25th, from 4 to 7 p.m., Hope Angels is hosting their annual pink event. This one is titled Faith in Fire. It's a fireside chat with special guest Roland Parrish. This will take place at Hammond Central in the Dr. Walter J. Watkins Black Box Theater. Tickets are $25, and all of those proceeds go to Hope Angels Fund, which is supportive of those experiencing breast cancer or survivors of breast cancer. So once again, just want to announce that event, Hope Angels annual pink event, Faith in the Fire, Saturday, October 25th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Hammond Central with special guest Roland Parrish. Thank you.
Thank you. He'll be there, huh?
You'll be there.
Cool.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything on the communications? Anybody else have any communications? Communications are now closed. Item number 8, committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Benaz.
yes, I'd like to announce the upcoming Community and Crime Watch group meetings. Edison Community Watch will meet Wednesday, November 5th, 6:30 p.m. at Edison School. Harrison Park Crime Watch will meet Tuesday, November 4th, 6 p.m. at the VFW on Holman Avenue. Hessville Crime Watch will meet Thursday, October 16th at the HC3 Community Center at 6 p.m. Irving Community Watch will meet Tuesday, November 11th, 9:30 a.m. at Irving School. Whiting Robertsdale Crime Watch will meet Thursday, November 13th, 6:30 p.m. at Calumet College. There has been a lot of really good information that has been given at these meetings. Excuse me. As of late, because this is Fire Prevention Month and we've had firefighters there, please come out, find out ways to protect you and your family, because community is not just about me, it's about us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything on the committee reports?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Salinas.
Our Capital Improvement Board met on October 6th, 2025, and we had 9 funding allocations that I'd like to report. I'll go through them now. Funding allocation number 284 from the Holman Avenue Reconstruction Phase 2 to American Structure Point Construction Engineering in the amount of $493,685.37. This is part of a federal aid project. It was an 80-20 split. So the amount to Hammond was $98,737.07. This includes streets of Russell to Douglas in downtown Hammond. Funding allocation number 285, 165th Street and State Line improvements. Change orders numbers 1 and 2 to Gary Up Construction in the amount of $20,284.65. This included pavement grindings and a balancing change order for actual quantities used. Funding allocation number 286, road safety audit on Holman at Goslin Street. This was identified as the 7th highest crash ranking in our city. This was in the amount of $1,800.06. This was part of a 20% match for the city. This is being conducted by NERPC, which is the Northern Indiana Regional Planning Commission. Funding allocation 287 was strike from the budget. There was no action taken. Funding allocation number 288, evaluate the electrical system at the Dan Rabin Plaza to Hawk Enterprises in the amount of $6,643.14. Funding allocation number 289, pavement patching to site services in the amount of $17,925. That dealt with patching on 121st Street between Lake Avenue and Atchison. That's in our first district. Funding allocation number 290, Holman Avenue reconstruction phase 2 change. Phase 2, change order number 1. This was to NDOT/Milestone Contractors LP in the amount of $3,210. That's the 20% that the Hammond's on the hook for. This was a water service upsize to 4 inches from 2 inches. Funding allocation number 291, Fayette Street curb change, change order number 1. This is to Stamped Concrete Parkway H3 in the amount of $10,780. Funding allocation number 292, Columbia Avenue resurfacing to Milestone Contractors LP in the amount of $33,366. This was a railroad coordination that dealt with different permits, railroad flagging, and delays. Final funding allocation, number 293, the Little Calumet River Pedestrian Bridge, change order number 2 to Gary Up Construction in the amount of $36,833.58. This was a balancing change order to correct the planned quantities to the actual quantities. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything on the committee reports? Does anybody else have anything on the committee reports? I do know council as a whole will be bringing out 2518, 2519, and 2520. Does anybody else have anything on the committee reports? Committee reports are now closed. Item number 9, ordinance, third reading and final passage.
Ordinance number 2518, sponsored by Councilwoman Venez. An ordinance creating new funds, Fund number 3397, 3398, 4683, for the municipal food and beverage tax.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Venez.
yes, I move for final passage of 2518.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Venez, seconded by Councilman Kowinski. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Venez.
yes, at the recommendation of the controller, we are adding new line items for the municipal food and beverage tax to our budget. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Venez,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes. Let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Ordinance 25-19, sponsored by Councilwoman Venez. An ordinance designating new funds, Fund number 2249, 2250, for the municipal excise tax and concurrent wheel tax funds.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Venez.
I move for final passage of 2519.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Venez, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Venez.
yes, once again, at the urging of the controller, we are establishing new line items for the municipal excise tax and wheel tax.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Venez,
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Ordinance number 25-20, sponsored by Councilwoman Venez. An ordinance creating new funds, number 2493, 2494, 2495, for the FY 2026, excuse me, Comprehensive Highway Injury Reduction Program grant funds.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for final passage of 2520.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
yes, once again, at the urging of the controller, we're establishing new line items for a grant that we received in the amount of $51,750 to the Hammond Police Department. There are several programs that this money will go to. The goal is the prevention and reduction of traffic injuries and/or fatal crashes through seatbelt enforcement, speed enforcement, and impaired driving enforcement. Another goal is to increase safety of pedestrians and bicyclists by reducing the injuries and/or fatalities. Also, a goal is to aid in the safe transportation of school-age pedestrians at school pickup and drop-off locations by making sure drivers do not go around the stop arm. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any further discussion? Anybody else have any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander. Yes. Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show. Motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
President Warple, that concludes the ordinances for final passage.
Thank you, Clerk Golick. Item number 10, introduction of ordinances.
Item A, the 2026 City of Hammond budget proposal sponsored by Mayor McDermott.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
I make the motion to pass 25-23 on first and second reading and refer to council as a whole at our next meeting at 5 o'clock.
Second.
The motion's been made for council as a whole on 10/27 at 5 o'clock. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? I'm sorry, what? Oh, the motion was made by Councilman Rakos, seconded by Councilwoman Vines, my bad. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Item B, ordinance number 2524, sponsored by Councilman Spitali and Vines. It's the 2026 redevelopment budget.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for first and second reading of 2524, referred to council as a whole, with a committee meeting on October 27th at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Tyler. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I believe we've all received the redevelopment budget changes. Karen Janica, thank you for spelling everything out so clearly. The main difference is the salary of the Economic Development Director and the TIF Program Coordinator. We had to change things around a little bit at the urging of the controller. So that was the difference. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President, for all other budgets, unless it was otherwise agreed to in the union contract, everybody got 2% raises. It's consistent across government. Sanitary district, even though only a small part of the sanitary district uses property taxes, they still follow the city's lead in that. Water department, which is completely profitable, still follows the city's lead. okay? Good times and bad times, we're one team. So everybody, you're not going to see any raises outside of 2% or union authorized pay raises, so.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else have any further discussion? Any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show, 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Item number C.
Ordinance number 25-25, the 2026 budget proposal for the Sanitary District of Hammond, the Sewer Maintenance Fund, and the Special Sanitary Debt Service Fund, sponsored by Councilwoman Venez and Councilman Spitali.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for first and second reading of 2525, refer to council as a whole with a committee meeting on October 27th at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
I spoke with Rachel this morning. There was a slight reduction in the budget, had to do with repairs and maintenance, and that was the answer that I received. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any further discussion? Anybody else have any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show. The motion carries, 0 in favor. I'm sorry, 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Item number 25, resolution, or ordinance 2526, item D, sponsored by Mayor McDermott. An ordinance fixing the salaries and wages of all city officials and employees of the city of Hammond, Indiana, other than those fixed by statute or by ordinance heretofore enacted, and fixing the effective date thereof.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
move for passage first and second reading on 2526. Council as a whole on October 27th at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Rakos, seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show. The motion carries, 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Item E, ordinance 25-27, sponsored by Councilman McDermott. Mayor McDermott. I apologize, Mayor.
Sorry, maybe one day.
Mr.
And
President.
ordinance-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
An ordinance fixing the salaries and wages of all police officers and firefighters of the city of Hammond, Indiana, other than those fixed by statute or by ordinance, theretofore enacted, and fixing the effective date thereof.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
move for approval of 25-27. Council as a whole on October 27th at 5 p.m. for committee hearing.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Rakos, seconded by seconded by Councilwoman Vines. I'll get it right. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show. The motion carries, 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Item F, ordinance number 25-28, sponsored by Councilman Salinas. and ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana, authorizing payments in lieu of taxes.
Mr. President,
Councilman Salinas.
make a motion that we accept ordinance 2528 on first and second reading, refer it to council as a whole for committee meeting on October 27th at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Salinas, seconded by Councilman Emerson. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Salinas.
This is part of our this is part of a $27 million investment from LM Development Partners, who are the owners of the Renaissance Towers and apartments on Michigan and Seoul. This is an agreement that would authorize payments beginning in 2027. It would begin at $93,000 over a period of 30 years and an increase of a rate at 3%. This is an upgrade to 450 units, including both senior living facility towers. As councilman of the second district and being there in that area with the residents, this is an area that needs upgrading, and this gives us that opportunity. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Mayor?
I appreciate Councilman Salinas' comments. I agree 100%. I appreciate the fact that there's a 23, probably closer to $25 million investment about to be made in the Renaissance. There's 1,000 people that live in those units. They're old units, and some of the residents that live in those buildings are financially challenged. So I appreciate the company stepping forward. This redevelopment project will be led by Renaissance Preservation LLC and their preservation division, SENA Affordable Communities. I appreciate them stepping up with this project. I think it's important. Pilot agreements are made in lieu of taxes, payment in lieu of taxes. It's one of my favorite words. You know, you hear our president say his favorite word's tariff. One of my favorite words is pilot, okay? Pilots come with places like the sanitary district that doesn't get taxed, and they pay us money to help us with our budget because they don't pay property taxes. So the fact that this project includes 3% escalating pilot payments to the city of Hammond and invests $23 million into the building, upgrading the lives for 1,000 residents, I think it's a great project. So I appreciate Councilman Salinas' comments.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you.
Item G, ordinance 2529, an ordinance enacting proposed amendments to the system of user fees for the operation and maintenance of the city stormwater system, sponsored by Councilwoman Vines.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
I move for first and second reading of 2529, refer to council as a whole on October 7 at 5 p.m.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilwoman Vines, seconded by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President.
I was going to say Councilman,
Jeez,
Mayor.
it's catching
Mayor.
on.
You're getting demoted tonight by 2 people now. Mayor.
For full transparency, this is asking to raise the stormwater fee from $7.75 a month to $9. An extra $1.25 a month with all of our ratepayers adds up to about $1 million a year in extra revenue that the Hammond Sanitary District has agreed to pledge to the capital improvement boards, so that we have an extra $1 million to the capital improvement boards, which I know there's a number of council people that sit on, to help us fund stormwater projects. Almost every councilman I'm looking at right now has been affected by stormwater projects over the last couple of years in their district. These are the kinds of things that aren't going away, and this money is a small amount of money that could help us try to combat this problem. It's small, it's $1 million a year, but and then I know that you guys took notice of the fact that the sanitary district budget dropped. I imagine that dropped in anticipation of this new revenue source going directly to CIB, because that line item that they got rid of was for repairs and maintenance, which is what this is going to do. So there's an escalator built in where it goes up a little bit every year up until 2029. If this is passed and it's escalated, if you look at Hammond's total utility billing we'll still be the lowest in the state by a fairly large margin, even if this rate goes in. We have communities that are 3 times higher than us in total billing. This is the kind of thing other communities do to help them battle floods. I think it's time for us to start getting more serious about this. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, because I know each of you has been affected by this, and it's frustrating for all of us. So if we want to battle it, we got to put our money where our mouth is.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
Mayor, just a question.
Yes, sir.
I know as part of the ordinance, it says that the fees were spread across, fees were equitably spread across kind of residential, commercial, and industrial property owners.
Yes, sir.
Is that, can you just, maybe not you, maybe Mylan, can you just explain
Mylan,
kind of like
come up here.
how it was,
Sure.
how it's equitable, like what's the ratio? Because I'm guessing residents the increase is not as much for residents as it is for
You're
industrial.
correct, Councilman. It's $1.75, as the mayor said, per month for the residential. It does increase more for the commercial as well as then the industrial users as well. So it's all depending on the size of your property, the size and the use.
So a large industrial complex is going to pay more because
Yep.
their property is larger.
Yes, they will.
than-
We'll use Cargill as an example. They pay a lot more. Yes,
Makes sense.
it does.
They're putting a lot more
Yes.
stormwater into the system.
Right.
And then just one more question. How do
Sure.
we get to the final rate of 15? How was that determined?
Over a 4-year period.
Right, yeah.
Right. So that's what it'll raise
Just the
incrementally
$1.25 increase over 4 years gets us to that
all the way
15?
all the way through, right?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
Thanks, Councilman.
thank you.
I got a
And this
question.
is attached to the property tax bill?
What's that? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Attached to, yeah.
So this is twice a year, or is this monthly then?
We,
Twice a
it-
year.
it-
You pay it
it-
twice a year.
Twice a year.
This is a
Twice a
monthly
year, but it's a
charge, but
monthly
it's
charge.
paid twice a year when you pay your bill,
Okay.
right?
Right, that's right, yes.
Is there a way we measure how much people are using that, putting out? I mean, you don't have a measurement per se.
No, it's,
You just have
again,
a
it's based on the property size and use.
I thought, we always heard it was the grates themselves. The more grates you had, the more your stormwater fee, but that's sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
If you have a larger parking lot, you have more stormwater.
You're going to have more
rates.
stormwater that we have to treat then, yes.
Right. Thank you. Good questions, thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
Mylan, just one more question. I know during caucus you said that these rates haven't been raised in 10 years.
That's correct, yep. 2015, last time these were raised.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks for the great questions. Appreciate it.
Any further discussion?
I do want to point out one last thing, Mr. President, if it's all right.
Go ahead.
We gave you two graphs. One was the graph of just the stormwater fees. If you look at that graph, you'll see that Hammond, if we pass this by 2029, assuming all the rates stayed the same, which is a horrible assumption, I think you're going to see a lot of these communities raising their rates as well. It has us we're in the top third in 2029, assuming nobody else raises their rates. But the important chart is the next chart, which is the colorful chart. That's your total utility billing chart. I'm trying to find it real quick. That is studied across the state of Indiana. I want to thank Matt Muta, the Hammond Sanitary District, for putting these numbers together and literally calling places like Lowell, Evansville, Fort Wayne, finding out what they pay in each of these 3 different categories, water, sewer, and stormwater, putting it all on a graph and realizing that Hammond residents have the lowest utility rates in the state of Indiana. Even if this is passed, we're still by far the lowest. Unfortunately, that's not going to hold once the federal government forces us to do the consent decree. Then you'll see us start to join the ranks of everybody else at that point, but that's a decade off, hopefully. With President Trump in office, it could be 2 decades off, who knows? So,
Mr. President, sorry, one more question. All right, just a comment.
Yes, sir.
I know we had this conversation before too, because every time we, I think, go through like a rate increase, we talk about how we didn't necessarily need to increase rates back when we were bringing in.
$35 million a year in casino gaming revenue.
Right.
You're right,
But now that
Councilman.
that has changed,
Yes, sir.
And I think with just the economy the way it is and changes, to your point, federal and state government, like I'm the last person that wants to increase, rates and taxes. I know, and probably most of us feel that way here on residents. I don't want to pay the increase myself, but at the same time, I know it's necessary to do the work that we need to do to protect our residents from, everything that's taking place. We talked a lot about the rains and the tropical storms that we get hit with, and there's always flooding in my district and some of the other districts
Yes,
too.
sir.
So I know that this will help address.
I
some
know
of those
that, Councilman.
issues. Yeah.
And when it floods our district and we're all looking at each other with that look on our face, like, I mean, this could help us battle that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying is like, and I agree with you, Councilman. It's $1.25 a month. I do try to keep that in mind, okay? But like, it seems like everything's going up, and it's going up for the Hammond Sanitary District and the city as well as your households. So, but I appreciate the comments.
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Alexander.
That copy of that chart wasn't in my
I'm
box.
sorry, Councilwoman. We'll get it to you right away.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was not intentional, obviously. We have 3 different graphs. I'll make sure you get all 3 of them. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Anybody else?
We have one right now, Councilwoman, so.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Can I approach Councilman?
Vines.
Yes.
Kowinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
President Warple, that concludes the introduction of ordinances.
Thank you, Clerk Golick. Item number 12, resolutions.
Item A, Resolution 25R-20, sponsored by Councilman Kowinski. A resolution proclaiming October 2025 as Polish American Heritage Month in the city of Hammond, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move that 25R-20 pass through final reading.
Second.
Motion's been made by Councilman Kowinski, seconded by Councilman Tyler. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Kowinski.
I would request that Clerk Golick read the resolution in its entirety.
Whereas in October, the month the first Polish settlers arrived in Jamestown, Virginia, in 1608, we celebrate the many contributions that American of Polish heritage have made to our nation. And whereas during the 20th century, millions of Poles immigrated to the United States, building churches and schools and establishing community and fraternal organizations. And whereas today there are about 9 million Americans of Polish descent, many of whom have made significant contribution to the arts, science, business, government, technology, athletics, military service, and the culinary industry. And whereas the global legacy of Polish people includes discoveries in astronomy by Nicholas Copernicus, Nobel Prize-winning research in physics and chemistry by Marie Curie, musical artistry by Ignacy Jan Paderewski and Frederic Chopin, devotion to workers' rights by Lech Walesa, religious freedom as expressed courageously by St. Pope Paul II and St. Maximilian Kolbe, martyr of Auschwitz concentration and extermination camp. And whereas outrageous Poles helped secure our independence during the Revolutionary War, such as Brigadier General Tadeusz Kościuszko, who masterminded a key British defeat at Saratoga and oversaw the building of military fortifications at West Point, and Brigadier General Casimir Pulaski, father of the American Cavalry, who was mortally wounded during the Battle of Savannah in October 1779. And whereas Polish fraternal and social organizations and businesses have long provided social support, insurance programs, and cultural programming in the region, including the Polish National Alliance, Polish Cultural Society of Indiana, Polish American Veterans Association, Post 40 in Hammond, and have sponsored local events including harvest festivals, parish bazaars, parades, and Polka Fest. And whereas Polish parishes founded in Hammond, including St. Adalbert's, 1902, St. Casimir, 1892, and Our Lady of Częstochowa, 1912, preserved faith traditions through Polish language, masses, and devotions. The Easter custom for Saturday bringing the baskets for blessing, and Christmas Eve Wigilla supper. And therefore be it proclaimed that Hammond does hereby designate October 25th as Polish American Heritage Month in the city of Hammond, Indiana, and does hereby encourage residents to join in celebrating the many contributions of Polish Americans and traditions, food, music, and faith that have enriched Hammond's civic life. Adopted by the Common Council of the City of Hammond.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kowinski.
the Polish American Heritage Month Committee of the Calumet Region celebrated its 30th consecutive October celebration this past weekend here in Hammond at Pulaski Park with wreath laying, raising of flags, a dance group, a Polish dance group that danced, sang, and recited poetry, and also provided a bouquet of flowers for the Vice Consul General of the Republic of Poland, Bernadetta Halka Masajewska, who also presented a resolution at that time. And then it was accompanied with a free Polish polka band at the park. And then the following day at Calumet City's Pulaski Park, there was wreath laying, a mass at St. Andrews, some speeches, flag raising, and then a banquet at the VFW in Calumet City, where a older Polish dance group in costume performed, as well as a banquet provided with food from the Cavalier Inn. So I want to thank the Polish American Heritage Committee for doing this again for the 30th year. And I want to especially thank Tadeus Jones and Treasurer Jerry Tarka, who's the committee head, for providing generators to Hammond for power. And we appreciate the brotherhood of the sister communities. And congratulations to all Polish Americans as you celebrate Polish American Heritage Month in October. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali,
Yes.
Vines,
Yes.
Kowinski,
Yes.
Salinas,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show the motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
President Warple, that concludes the reading of the resolutions.
Thank you, Clerk Golick.
May I add, I'd like to apologize for the mispronunciation of all the names, especially since I'm 100% Polish.
Pretty impressed.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
Item number 13, new and unfinished business.
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
I would like to introduce a new resolution for consideration.
We all got one. We got it. We got it.
Does everybody have a copy of it?
Yes.
I believe so, yes. Did the clerk get a copy?
Yes, a copy.
The motion's been made to, well, the motion's been made to introduce a resolution under new and unfinished business. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Councilwoman Vines. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President, I would like
Councilman.
for Clerk Golick to at least read the intro to the resolution
By title?
by title, sorry.
A resolution of the City of Hammond Common Council prohibiting the uncoordinated use of city property for civil immigration and customs enforcement staging areas, processing locations, or operations center.
Thank you, Clerk. Mr. President?
Councilman Tyler?
I just want to say that this resolution is in response to recent immigration law enforcement agencies coming into the city. Mayor, thank you for the work of you and your administration for holding them accountable. I know that, we've had this conversation once again several months ago in terms of the uncoordinated efforts and putting a stop to that. And so thank you for stepping up. In response, thought it made sense for the city council to pass a resolution in support of that. I will save us from reading it in its entirety, but I do want to highlight just 3 quick points. One, that this is an attempt to protect the constitutional rights of every resident within the city of Hammond. We are trying to take proactive steps to maintain trust between our immigrant communities and local law enforcement. And then lastly, of course, it confirms that our city won't stand aside and let immigration law enforcement use city property and resources in unapproved or unsanctioned efforts within our city. So I know there's probably a few words that you want to share. Just want to say thank you again.
Mr. President,
Mayor?
I want to say thank you, Councilman Berry, and to the council members. What happened last week was unexpected, and it was fortunate that we literally had a meeting the day before with the Hammond Police Department where we discussed in detail how we were going to approach ICE if they ever came to the city of Hammond, and the next morning it happened, and we were all on the same page. I want to thank the chiefs of police, the Hammond police officers that reported this quickly, and in their defense, they did leave the parking lot when confronted and asked to relocate to another part of the city. And Councilman Berry, you hit the nail on the head. The Hammond Police Department has really gone out of their way in the last 5 years to try to establish trust within our community and to build relationships within our community. And I was afraid that if we, even just trying to protect these officers that are violating constitutional rights of people that look of Hispanic origin, if our police officers are caught up in that viral video, all that trust that we've built up all these years has gone in an instant. The Hammond Police Department doesn't cover their faces. They make arrests and they respond and they're responsible and they respect your constitutional rights. I don't want anything to do with what I'm seeing right now. Pastors getting pepperballed, sprayed in the face, moms getting tackled because they're crying because their husbands are getting dragged off. This is unacceptable. The fact that they were on our property was uncalled for. There's a federal courthouse 1 block to the west. Go to your federal courthouse. Get out of our parking lot. Councilman, I couldn't agree more. I appreciate you bringing this up. I can't wait to sign it, and the Polish Heritage Month also. I'm looking forward to signing both of them. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Councilman Salinas?
Yes, I'd like to also say thank you to Councilman Tyler for bringing this out, and I'd like to be added on as a co-sponsor, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. President?
Councilman Tyler?
Mayor, can you there's been a lot of conversation online in terms of what rights.
Councilman Tyler, can I interrupt you for a second? Because I actually have to take 2 motions on this.
Okay.
We have to take a vote on accepting a resolution under new and unfinished business, and you explained what it is. So, Clerk Golick, can we get a roll call vote on accepting the resolution under new and unfinished business?
Alexander,
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Galwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes. The motion carries 9 in favor, 0 opposed, and in the case of 2/3 of the elected members of the council people present, now we can vote on the motion after you finish your discussion. Okay?
Thank you.
On the motion of the resolution itself.
Mayor, there's been, like I said, a lot of conversation about what rights we have as a municipality in terms of blocking the federal government from using our property. If city property, police department, city hall is considered public property or private property, can you just kind of touch on that a little bit?
Good question, Councilman. First off, I think we all agree if ICE pounds on our front door of our house, we have property rights in our house. We all know that. So the question is a good question. What rights do we have on city property? Can anybody use it, or do we have rights as council and the mayor? I think we have rights, Councilman, and especially with this resolution that you're proposing, I think it shows that the council and the mayor are on board on this issue, and I think we have every right to say, not in this parking lot. But Councilman, you bring up an issue that's very timely, because today there was a nasty rumor going around the city of Hammond that ICE was staging in Gavitt High School parking lot. I happened to be home at the time I heard that, and I ran over there. I was there within 5 minutes, and there was 10 federal agents' cars parked in the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my goodness, they're here, they're in Gavitt parking lot. We made sure there was nobody in the school. And then a car pulled up, 2 members of the ATF got out and said, Mayor, this is all our cars. We're ATF, we're executing a warrant in Hammond right now. I shook his hand, I said, thank you, officer, and I walked away. You know what I'm saying? Because the ATF, they're helping us. We have officers that help the ATF helps us, FBI, DEA, US attorneys, state police, county sheriff. We support law enforcement. I think what we're saying today, Councilman, is I don't think what ICE is doing is law enforcement. I don't think law enforcement officers cover their face out of embarrassment so they can't be identified. I don't think law enforcement officers could just tackle people to the ground. If Hammond cops did that, I have a feeling we'd all have a problem with it, okay? So I appreciate that, and I think it's a great question. This may bring repercussions. I think we're all aware of that in this environment with this state government. But I think it's well worth it, Councilman. We have 40% of our population that's petrified right now.
And we're not the first municipality to pass a resolution like this. I know there have been other ones that have been upheld so far.
In Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago. I mean, and I feel like there's been other places across the country that I think California as a state, there's been states who have passed
Yes, sir.
things
I
like
agree
this
with you.
too. So
But in Indiana, we might be the first.
yeah.
But by the way, Councilman, there's other communities that are already looking at this resolution as we speak. And I have a feeling you're going to see other communities doing the same thing, so.
One question, Mr. Mayor. So with these ICE agents concealing their identities, how does Hammond Police identify them?
That's a great question, Councilman.
How do we move forward?
I guess we have to trust the fact they have police on their vest, that nobody could go out and buy
I've
one.
gotten numerous calls with just, residents scared that people walk in the neighborhood, are they ICE agents, are they not? How do we identify them? Do we just call the police? Do the police come out?
Councilman Salinas, we had a resident that did that to us. I'm glad you brought this up. The resident said, called up the Hammond Police and said it was in North Hammond also. There's people parked out in front of my house.
Right.
They're sitting in a car. They've been there for like 2 hours. That's concerning. Anytime any of us see that not in front of our house, we're going to call the cops. Cops show up, knock on the window, say, what's going on in here? We're ICE agents. We're waiting for somebody. It's fact. It's happening right now in Hammond. I don't know if it's a felon or not. I don't even know if we can trust him anymore when it comes to that. That's why I think what you guys are doing is right on the mark. I really do.
I received a text on the way here that ICE, and I didn't confirm it, that ICE was at Walmart in the Marina District.
Okay.
That would have been like 4 or 5, I guess.
I didn't hear
Did you
anything,
hear
but
anything?
no, I didn't. I heard that they were on the east side today, though, Councilman. So, I mean, if they're over on the east side and they're looking for somebody, you know how mobile people are. People go from the east side to Robertsdale all day long. So if they're looking for somebody on the east side and they're in Hammond, or maybe they have a girlfriend that lives in Hammond or something,
Yeah.
those officers are coming right over here. They don't respect state boundary like that. They'll be here. Hammond police don't operate like this. I did ask them, I said, do you guys ever cover your face? Because that bugs me. I think it bugs all Americans to see cops that are embarrassed to show their face. And the cop said, there's one time we cover our face, Mayor. I said, when? SWAT raids. Okay. You're going into a drug dealer's house. I could get away. I could live with that, right? But these guys keep their face covered every day at work because they're embarrassed with what they're doing. It's embarrassing. It's not American.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Thank you, Councilman Barry.
Mr. President, when is it appropriate for me to add my name to this resolution, and if any others choose to do so as well. Do we have to wait till after it's passed?
No, it's-
Anytime? Okay. I would like to add my name to the resolution.
And I would like to add my name to the resolution.
Is that a yes, Dan?
Yes.
No, I was looking at Dan. Dan's giving me the thumbs up.
Yes, I will add my name as well.
Me too, whatever, you know.
Mayor, when you mentioned that we could face possible consequences, I suspect you were thinking what I was thinking, and that could be money from downstate
Well-
projects and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think we face the same kind of consequences because we exist, though, in this environment. But so when this went down, Councilman Mark, first off, we were inundated, as you can imagine. I'm sure the council chamber was. That was a busy day. And then I started hearing rumors from the governor that he passed some executive order that forces us to comply with ICE. Yeah, executive order. It's not law. Let's go, right? Executive order. I could live with that. You know, we're doing the right thing. If we're going to go to prison together, I feel a lot better with all you guys with me, I'll be honest with you. But if we're going to do something, let's do it for the right reasons, okay? We're doing it for the right reasons right now. 40% of our population is being terrorized by these people. It's not right. Thank you, Councilman Berry. Thank you to the council members. I appreciate it. That's a good one. So, appreciate you guys.
Mr. President,
Councilman Tyler.
I make a motion, point of clarification. The ordinance doesn't have a number right now.
25R21. 25R21.
All right, thank you. Mr. President, I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 25R-21.
Second.
Motion's been made to pass 25R21
Correct.
by Councilman Tyler, seconded by Councilman Rakos. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? I still got that mental picture of all of us sitting in jail like at the end of Seinfeld. Is there any discussion? Clerk Golick, roll call.
Alexander.
What's that button up there?
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Salinas.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes, let the record show, 9 in favor, 0 opposed.
Thank you for doing that.
Does anybody else have anything under new and unfinished business? Does anybody else have anything under new and unfinished business? Hearing none, new and unfinished business is closed. Public expression, Gary and Sylvester.
Good evening. Just wanted to say that Foreign Local Brewery, they had a great event last Saturday night. So it's working out really well. There was well over 100 people attended that. They had many different bands playing. It's not my favorite type of music, but, you know, I like to see the entertainment out there. You know, it's really working great for Hessville. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan Whitney.
Good evening, council members. I wrote something down here. My name is Ryan Whitney, and I live in the 4th District of Hammond at 818 Cherry Street. And I'm here tonight to share a serious issue that's affecting the peace and sleep of many residents near the Speedway gas station at 6845 Calumet Avenue. This station, owned by 7-Eleven, has installed a loudspeaker that plays a recorded message at random times, day and night. And the message says, "Thank you for shopping at 7-Eleven. For your safety, the parking lot is being video recorded." This message plays over and over 24/7, whether that be 1 in the morning or 3 in the morning. But even with my windows closed, we can hear it clearly inside our homes. The sound comes without warning, so we can't tune it out or get used to it. And it's constant enough to make every night stressful, but random enough to make it impossible to ignore. I've recorded a video from inside my home to show you how loud it is. If any of you would like to see that video, I can provide it. So yeah, basically I'm just asking for your help to connect with the right city official who can work with Speedway and 7-Eleven to stop these announcements, and hopefully we can help restore peace and quiet for the Hammond residents. Thank you for your time.
What's
you.
the address?
It's 6845 Calumet Avenue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
George?
George Stoya. Yeah, I would like to renew again and restate my objections to the way these public hearings went with respect to the budget. I don't think they were properly before this body for deliberation or otherwise. And before you tell me, yeah, well, we had hearings on Saturday or Tuesday or whatever day it was, that's not my problem. We're here now. Whatever you deliberated and discussed at those previous meetings doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't changed, altered, or reorganized in some final budget proposal that you set forth here. And this is like budgeting by ambush. We were ambushed with a budget, so nobody can contest it now, because if we miss the deadline of October 31st, you got to have the budget in? Well, then we're SOL, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't like the mayor does this all the time. You guys do it all the time, every year. You wait till the last damn minute, that way nobody can contest anything, because, we got to get it through, otherwise we won't have any money. I ain't buying it. It really doesn't sit well with me at all. Not that you guys give a damn, because you're not here to serve us. I'm a disabuse of that notion. You're here to serve yourselves. Yeah, it's just, the mayor talks about earlier about the young woman that was up here. He complaining about where she got her facts. Well, we know damn well she didn't get her facts here, because you guys don't release any. Not one word, not one summary, not one clarification was made about our budget. Nothing, let alone the sanitary district. But you want to tack on another, a couple extra dollars on the what do you call that resolution for the, that comes out of your taxes, the user fees for the city stormwater systems. Nice. This is the way Donald Trump runs the government. This is what's going on here. This is authoritarian. This is not democratic. You guys may think it is, but I guess at 40 grand a year, what do you care, right?
Thanks, George.
You bet.
I entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
I didn't get a chance to sign because when I walked in before
Ma'am,
8,
you had your
before
chance to
6,
sign the
no,
list.
I walked in before 6, and it's nothing
Ma'am,
that's gonna scare you. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Barry, for asking the mayor on TIF information, being honest. I've spoken with even our chief here on that for when he was in charge of the school district. I want you to know that I know a lot of you guys care about the community. I can see Miss Alexander, Barry. I'm not going to call out all names, but thank you. Thank you for asking. I do believe that knowledge is key here on the TIF. There are funds. I'm not saying it's a bailout for it, but let's think about it here. We've got the sewer department, we've got water department, right? Gaming is down somewhat, right? But we weren't gonna live off that forever. And we do run, we get a lot of good money with the services we provide as water. We do know how much that does, but I do want to make a point, Sportsplex built with TIF funding, that's also profitable. I think the mayor reported on the profits. There are profits. So sometimes we cry broke and sometimes we say, hey, we're profiting. We have to really find out where those funds are going. We can't just say every fund is going to the roads and sanitation or to, the college funding. It needs to be more transparent. That way, when people cry broke, we need to reevaluate budgets. That's just the way it is. I know the state is not giving enough, but we have to do it what we can so that we don't put the pressures on our communities. We know it's coming. And so last but not least, he mentioned the stormwater information, and I agree with the, public hearings being a little bit more public, But as far as the rate increase, and he says it's $1.25. I'm looking at Tyler, but I want to tell everyone, and I got my councilman here. when these documents are so important, when they're saying it's only $1.25, and then he goes off and says there's a yearly increase up until so-and-so. So it's just a matter of are they going to be able to afford it? How much? And the documents that she didn't even have today with her, she had to ask for that. That should not be happening. And so while I want to say, just to clarify what the mayor said as well, I know negotiations with union, and I know the struggle he had with the fire department and the police department. I'm very supportive of them. They keep our streets safe, and I see them working super hard. And so, yes, 2% to 5% increases a year, union-based, I'm very familiar with those contracts. That happens yearly. And so thank you guys for looking out for them, looking out for us, your resolution, looking out for the people, considering the demographics here when you do make those decisions with taxes and such, and what it'll do for your districts. Thank you guys so very much. Have a blessed day.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.